There is a strange life pattern that doesn't follow the usual success timeline people love to talk about. You've seen that timeline everywhere. Fast start, early wins, status by 30, power by 40. Society presents life like a straight upward graph, like a rocket launch that never slows down. The heroes in these stories are always the early achievers, the prodigies, the ones who figured it out before everyone else. But there exists another type of person whose journey looks completely different. Their graph is not a rocket, it's more like a seed buried deep underground for a very long time. These people don't sprint. They hesitate. They question. They try paths and abandon them. They watch others surge ahead while they feel stuck, heavy, and strangely delayed. From the outside, it can look like underachievement. From the inside, it feels like confusion mixed with pressure, a quiet knowledge that something important is forming but refusing to appear on schedule. If someone has ever told you that you have so much potential, but you secretly feel that potential never fully activates, you may belong to this slower, deeper trajectory. According to the psychological framework developed by Carl Jung, this pattern is not failure, it is design. Jung described human life as unfolding in two very different psychological phases, and each phase follows its own laws. Most people only understand the first half. That is where modern culture keeps its spotlight. The first half of life is about building identity, forming the ego, creating a social role, finding a place in the system, learning how to function in the external world. It is outward, moving, competitive, adaptive. You build a professional mask. You learn how to present yourself. You construct a persona that helps you survive socially and economically. For many people, this works smoothly. They find a role that fits well enough, wear it long enough, and eventually become it. They are rewarded for quick alignment with social expectations. Promotions, recognition, stability all arrive early because they are playing the correct game for that phase. But not every psyche is built for mask-first living. There are personalities that resist shallow alignment. Deep feelers, intuitive thinkers, inner analysts, people who sense meaning more than status. For them, wearing a persona feels like suffocation. They can perform for a while, but something inside starts to protest. Careers feel empty even when they look impressive. Relationships feel hollow even when they look successful. They experience a constant friction between their inner truth and outer role. While others are climbing, they are questioning the ladder itself. This mismatch often produces what looks like repeated false starts. You begin something with hope, then meaning drains out of it, and you walk away. Not because you are lazy, but because your psyche refuses to lock into something that feels false. Jung believed this kind of early failure to launch can actually be psychological self-protection. If a deeply complex personality locks too early into a rigid identity, they risk building a life around a false self. Early success, for them, would become a prison instead of a gift. So the psyche quietly sabotages what is too small. That period of drifting, trying, quitting, searching, it feels painful when you are inside it. You compare yourself constantly. You wonder what is wrong with you. But beneath the surface, something else is happening. Depth is forming. Observation is forming. Pattern recognition is forming. While the sprinters are mastering speed, you are developing perception. Nature offers a useful metaphor here. Grass grows quickly and covers land in weeks, but disappears in one harsh season. An oak tree grows painfully slowly. For years, it looks unimpressive above ground because most of its work is happening below ground. Root systems spread wide and deep before the trunk rises. When the trunk finally grows, it can hold weight for centuries. Some human personalities are psychologically built like oak trees. Long root phase. Late visible strength. What feels like wasted years are often root years. During this slower first half, you are gathering unusual combinations of experiences. You read widely. You explore different skills. You work strange jobs. You feel scattered compared to specialists. But you are not scattered. You are building a wide internal map. Later, this map becomes synthesis, the ability to connect ideas across fields. In a complex world, connectors become more valuable than narrow experts. Then comes what Jung called the great turning, the midlife psychological shift. For many people who peaked early, this moment feels like crisis. Their outer identity is strong, but their inner foundation is weak. When energy, youth, or status begins to fade, panic appears. They chase youth symbols. They cling to appearances. They try to extend the morning of life into the afternoon. And it doesn't work. But for the late developing personality, this turning point feels different. It feels like arrival instead of loss. The second half of life runs on different fuel. It is not driven by expansion, it is driven by meaning. Not competition, but integration. The traits that slowed you down earlier now become strengths. Reflection, emotional nuance, tolerance for solitude, depth of insight. These qualities are not rewarded in youth culture, but they are essential for wisdom culture. However, to step into this second phase, one critical shift must happen. You must stop measuring yourself using early life metrics. Salary timelines, fame timelines, social comparison timelines. Those belong to the morning of life. Your clock runs differently. Continuous ascent begins later for you, but it is more stable because it is internally anchored. What you may currently call depression or stagnation is sometimes misinterpreted energy. It is not emptiness. It is compressed power without direction yet, like an engine revving while still in neutral. The mistake is waiting for external permission to engage the gear. Society rarely understands delayed bloomers, so permission never arrives. Action must begin without applause. There is also another reason late bloomers often gain unusual strength later. They meet their inner darkness earlier. While early achievers are busy performing, late bloomers are often forced into introspection through struggle, isolation, or disappointment. They confront insecurity, envy, fear, and anger directly. This is uncomfortable, but it builds psychological honesty. Jung called this darker side of the personality the shadow. Everyone has one, but not everyone meets it consciously. Those who ignore it become rigid and fragile. Those who face it become grounded and formidable. When you accept your capacity for selfishness, aggression, and contradiction, you become less fake and more whole. You stop trying to look good and start trying to be real. Real strength comes from integrated shadow, not polished persona. This is why many people who mature slowly become unusually steady later. Their kindness is not weakness, it is chosen, not performed. Their boundaries are not cruel, they are clear. They no longer give energy from fear of rejection, but from surplus of inner stability. If your early years felt like wandering, confusion, and delay, it may not be because you were behind. It may be because you were being built for a different altitude, and the next phase, the real creative phase, only begins when you stop apologizing for your depth and start using it.